Michelle here from Chronically Bookish. Welcome back to another video. I've finally gotten over my cold. Billy is off studying to be a librarian today, and I thought I might do a review of a book that I'm not planning to finish. This doesn't happen to me very often. I used to, when I was a bit younger, probably in my early teens, I used to actually pick up a lot of books and not finish them. That's still a habit that happens, but basically I go back and I read them. It's just like I get interrupted, I don't finish them at that time, and then I go back and I do finish them. The book I'm talking about today is The Book of M by Peng Shepherd. When Billy and I went on holiday to the Blue Mountains last year, we, as per usual, hit all the bookstores that we could find in that area. So yeah, I picked this up and I was pretty intrigued. I liked the cover very much, and the blurb on the back is actually the thing that drew me in. I wanted to read it. I thought the concept was pretty interesting. So let me just read it to you and then I'll tell you my issues with the book. Okay, so we have, in the middle of a market in India, a man's shadow disappears. As rolling 24-hour news coverage tries to explain the event, more cases are discovered. The phenomenon spreads like a plague as people learn the true cost of their lost part, their memories. It goes on to say that when people lose their memories, they gain an element of magic. Now, this was the thing that really drew me to this book. I really wanted to see how Peng Shepherd was going to deal with this. I've never read anything by Peng Shepherd. I'm not sure if it's her first novel or not. I actually forgot to look that up before filming this, but anyway, I was super excited about this. It's definitely dystopian, and we start off in a world that looks exactly like the one we live in, and as the back says, a man in India loses his shadow and he becomes a worldwide interest, basically, because he's the first person that's ever lost his shadow, and there is kind of round-the-clock coverage of what's happening around him and to him as he's lost his shadow. And it's a multiple perspective book, and there are multiple storylines happening. Now, that can be absolutely fine, but what I found in this book is there are multiple storylines that I don't care about, that I didn't find interesting, and that it seemed like they were just being... It seems like it's pointless. I can't understand certain storylines. We are following Max and Ori. They are a couple, and Max, she loses her shadow and decides to leave the shelter that Ori and Max have built for themselves, because basically, as the rolling blackouts are occurring and more people are losing their shadow and their memories, the whole world is falling apart and there's no semblance of society as it was. And so we're mainly following them. There are a few other characters that come into play that are their friends and that have connections with them. To be honest, Ori's story throughout the entire thing, I just find it a bit pointless and quite boring. I really didn't enjoy where he is. And I also felt like a lot of the story was setting up for a lot of plot and not much development. Where am I up to? So I am on page 324. I have been there for X amount of months. I was reading this quite a lot, and then it just continued to drag on. The more I heard about Ori's story and that storyline, the more I didn't want to read it anymore. I wanted to know more about what was happening with Max's story, and it's like an epic journey to somewhere, and I don't know where they're going. And we are, so page 324, and I think there is about almost 500 pages in this book, and we're still introducing new things, new plots. There are more things going awry. They're supposed to be ending up at a particular destination, and I just cannot see the point. and I don't want to read it anymore. I will say some positives are I enjoy how Peng Shepherd writes her characters. They seem fleshed out in some ways more than others. What I mean by that is I don't see a huge amount of development, but I see lots of characteristics and insight that's provided basically through the characters and who they are and why they do the things they do, but they don't really go anywhere. And yeah, I just found that it didn't develop in a way that I was happy with, and so it has now become the first book I am not going to finish in probably, I would say, 5 or 6 years. It's the first one I've come across in that time that I will not go back and finish. I am probably going to unhaul this from the library that we have here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna skip to the end, see what happens, but I don't think I can continue with kind of the journey. There are too many groups trying to find each other, too many other kind of little subplots that are happening to those different groups. Yeah, it's just obviously not my cup of tea. I'd be super interested if any of you have read it and what you actually think of it. I found that it has quite a few mixed reviews on Goodreads. This is a book that I didn't actually check Goodreads before I picked it up. Sometimes I do that religiously, and then I go through phases of not looking at it at all because I want to be a bit surprised and then perhaps not influenced by other opinions. But yes, if you have read this, let me know in the comments below. Let me know your take on it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to chat with you all about it. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!